Oh, you got it on? Hi, my name is Mike Swanson. I run the website wallstreetwindow.com, and I run a private members group too. Now I've got something today that I've got to show you and you need to see. Take a look at this. Okay, I put together this really important gold update for you because I believe we're approaching a pivot point in gold and in the mining stocks. As always, let's first step back and look at the big picture to understand where things are going. You know the gold stocks made a top in 2011. This is the HUI Gold Stock Index. And they had a pretty nasty bear market decline in 2012 and the beginning of 2013. For the past year, though, they've been going sideways in what I call a stage 1 base. Stage 1 bases mark the transition point into a new bull market as they approach an end. And I believe that's exactly what's happening. And we're about to see a bust out to the upside into a new bull market that will last for 3 to 5 years. What makes me think this? What makes me think it's about to happen? Well, for one thing, we can measure the volatility in a financial market by looking at the 200-day Bollinger Bands, which are in pink on the chart I've got right here. When markets go sideways and their range gets narrow and narrow, what happens is the forces of buyers and sellers become roughly equal. That's what makes a stage 1 base. And when one of those forces is defeated, one side takes over. So bull markets are driven by buyers having the upper hand. Bear markets are driven by sellers having the upper hand. And the sideways markets, which we've been in with gold and the mining stocks for the past year, are markets where overall both sides are roughly equal. And when one side loses out, the other side takes over. Now the sellers lose out when they simply run out of shares to sell. Who are the sellers? They're the people who have been holding on over the past couple of years and are giving up on the market and just liquidating because they're scared. They're scared they're going to face another decline like they saw in 2012, or they're simply impatient and don't want to wait anymore for the new bull market. Those people have been getting out. Now, I think we're at the pivot point because if we look at the 20-day Bollinger Bands, which measure the shorter-term trends of the market, they're also coming together. You know the mining stocks had a sharp rally in May and in June that took the HUI Gold Stock Index back up to the 250 resistance point. And over the past 2 weeks, they've been consolidating below that level. And I believe they're about to bust out of it. Now, yes, in March, we saw them reach the 250 level too, and they didn't bust out. So what makes me think they can do it this time when they didn't do it before? That might be something you're asking yourself. Well, it's very simple. There's a ratio of the mining stock's performance as compared with the metal, which tends to lead the action in both. And you see that on the bottom of this chart. I've got the HUI divided by GLD, which is the gold stocks ETF ratio. And from end of May till now, it's been going up, which suggests that the trend is going to continue higher and these things are eventually going to break out. Now, in February and March, this trend flattened out, went sideways, and now, which meant that the stocks weren't acting that strong against the metal. They're simply going up with it. Now, though, they're going up with gold, and not only that, but going up more than gold's going up. And when there's times when gold's had its temporary dips, like last week when gold went below 1,300 an ounce, the gold stocks stood strong like rocks. And in fact, that ratio broke out today to the upside, or broke out Monday to the upside. All suggesting that the 250 level is going to soon be decisively beaten. And when that's beaten, it will be a sign that the transition into a new bull market is completed because the sellers have simply been exhausted for the most part and taken out of the game. Now, there's another little thing I want to tell you too, which I think makes this week very, very interesting to watch. Wednesday, we've got a Federal Reserve Day. Now, I want to point out to you that on June the 18th, there's also a Federal Reserve Day, and on that day, gold stocks surged upwards, and then the next day, the 19th, they totally went up again. In other words, the HUI Gold Stock Index went up from about 220 all the way up to 240 in 2 days associated with that Federal Reserve Day. That Fed Day is Wednesday. We could easily see a similar explosive move take place in mining stocks and in gold. And if it happens, we'll be seeing the HUI Gold Stock Index making a move up to 250. And at this point, a move up to 250 in this big picture move is going to be a powerful, explosive move that I think will complete the transition into a new bull market. So that's why I think this week could be a critical week for gold and why I'm making this update. Now, another thing you need to know is that there's some gold stocks actually already breaking out that have already gone above their March high, already gone above their July highs, and are just exploding upwards. Now, I can't go through all of them, and I don't really want to reveal the ones that I already own or that us in the Power Investor Group are a part of. But I will tell you about two that I think are interesting because I did mention them publicly the other week as stocks, as essentially free stock picks. One was EXK and one was FSM, two silver mining stocks. And EXK has already gone up from essentially $5.40 to over $6. Almost a 20% move already in the past 2 or 3 weeks since I publicly talk about them. And those are just two stocks making big moves. The point is there are gold stocks already popping out ahead of a sector-wide breakout. And that's often what happens in the transition time between any sector that's going from a basing phase into a bull market. There's always some sectors that assert leadership ahead of the pack, and that's what we're seeing happen now. And that's also why for the next 72 hours ending Thursday at 10 p.m. I'm going to do an emergency opening of my premium private Wall Street Power Investor membership service. It consists of you'll find out the stocks I own, the ETFs I own, and you'll get an ongoing stock pick or trading idea every week going forward to take advantage of this trend and to get into the market leaders. Because I believe, look, I was planning on opening this up again in October, but I'm not going to wait because I think things are going to be up substantially between now and then, and I think this could be it. Once this market goes, it's going to go, and these stocks can be up 20-30% sector-wide. Some stocks will double, and I want you to get in early into the game if you're going to get in, not later in the fall when things are already up. So I decided to do this emergency opening because we are in the group. The Power Investor Group is in the stocks. Many of the members are in early. Many of the members are getting in now. I'm in. And you can get in too. I want you in now, not in later, because those in early, before the new bull market completely launches, are going to be the ones that make the most money, and I want that to be you. So here we are opening up the service. This offering will close at 10 p.m. All details are below this video. Click the link to get in. It really shouldn't take you much thought to get in this, but if you want to read, all the details are below the link. And I'll see you on the other side. And one question I am getting from people, I will answer that before I go, is how do I think things can go from here? Well, the HUI right now is right below 250. In 2011, it was at 600. I think at the bare minimum, look, we have seen giant surges. Think from 2008 bottom of 150 to 2011 to 600. In 2001, we went from below 50 to up to 150 in a year and a half. In 2003, we went from that 150 up to 350 in 2 years. Gold stocks make giant moves. I think gold can go to $5,000 an ounce in a couple of years. Well, that may sound like a big move. Well, let's speak conservatively speaking then. Okay, the HUI is at 250. I think, conservatively speaking, we can easily expect it to double, go back up to the highs of 2011 in a year and a half. Because in the beginning of a bull market, you get big moves in the first year or two. So I think it's quite reasonable to expect gold stocks to reach the highs of 2011. That's a 100% gain in the HUI, and some stocks will go up 200-300% just in that move. I think we can go farther than that, much farther, but I don't want to make big claims that sound outrageous. So let's just speak conservatively speaking, and 100% return for the sector. That's big money, and that's exciting enough. So, I don't want to go completely crazy on you, but that's big enough. I think that's the minimum we can expect, and that minimum is enough to make incredible returns on. So if you want to be a part of this, if you want to be a part of the group and participate in a move of that magnitude, you know what to do, and I'll see you on the other side.